Time to talk Alabama football here at the Voice of College Football. Of course, we go to Stephen M. Smith of TouchdownAlabama.com. Please join him on his show right here on YouTube. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with Stephen M. Smith. In my own words, at 6 Central. Stephen, how you doing today?
Doing well, Mark. How are we feeling?
Doing well. Enjoying this summer weather as we head toward Memorial Day weekend. And of course, we are all anticipating the floodgates being opened and the surge of visits and then commitments that should ensue during the course of June and July and throughout the summer months, because I've seen numbers concerning how many commits there have been in college football, and it's only about 10 to 15% of what it typically is, understandably so, because these young men have not been available to get on campus because of the pandemic. And now with the dead period coming to an end, it is going to be one action-packed June for campuses across the country and football programs. And just run us down in regards to what information you know about Alabama's visitation schedule.
Well, with the athletes being able, Mark, to go to these respective schools and take these visits starting on June 1st, that will be the first day that the Crimson Tide will be able to host its guys for the 2022 class and beyond. Coach Saban has been very excited about getting these young men on campus, seeing how, due to the COVID pandemic, we've not been able to see these athletes visit, take these official and unofficial visits to these respective schools and programs. So for Alabama, the first couple of guys just off the top that are taking their visits on June 1st, that first week, we've got a 4-star outside linebacker defensive lineman in Curtis Perry out of Montgomery, out of Park Crossing High School, a guy that's got a lot of burst, a lot of speed, a lot of ability, can disrupt the passing game, can stuff the run, played all over the field at Park Crossing High School in Montgomery. They had him on offense. They had him on defense, just a real motor of a guy playing on the field. So Curtis Perry is one guy that will be here. Also, Jacob Sexton, the 4-star offensive lineman of Oklahoma, will be visiting as well that first week of June. Now, he's been offered by Alabama, by Oklahoma, by Oklahoma State, by Texas, and by Texas A&M. So quite a few schools going after that young man, but at first, his primary recruiter was Carl Scott, Alabama's former defensive backs coach. Coach Scott now in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings, but Doug Marrone has come in and has been able to keep that relationship, fine-tune that relationship, craft that relationship, that rapport there with Sexton. So that's been huge there for Alabama, keeping him in the fold. But he and Perry will both be visiting that first week of June. But outside of those two, a couple other guys to look at is Shemar Jackson. Shemar Jackson, a 4-star athlete, he has narrowed down his list of schools to between Alabama and Florida. He will make that commitment pretty soon here. Not quite sure on the day, but pretty soon he's going to make that commitment and probably get a visit again as well. You got another guy, 4-star cornerback in Earl Middle Jr. out of Heritage High School in Florida, a very powerhouse program down there, coached by Patrick Surtain, the father of Patrick Surtain II, former Bama corner who's now in the NFL with the Denver Broncos. But Earl Middle has narrowed down his list of schools to 6. Bama is in that top 6. He'll have that commitment coming pretty soon on his end. And then you got a 4-star tight end, a hybrid in Mac Markway, who is really excited to get to Alabama for his visit. That's coming within that first to second week of June as well. So we look at Mac Markway, Shemar Jackson, Earl Middle, Curtis Perry, and Jacob Sexton, just a few guys that pretty soon here will be taking their visits to the Crimson Tide, getting the feel for the program. But all of those guys really excited about finally getting on campus to meet up with Coach Saban, the staff, and some future teammates that could be around.
Stephen, I know that in addition to covering the Tide, that you're locked in on Alabama high school football, and all these guys are out of state. Have you had an opportunity to see any of these young men on tape? Do you have any impressions about whether it be any of these that you outlined, the visitation schedule, or anybody else that's on the target list that jumps out at you?
Now, just on tape, going back to Perry, Curtis Perry, his speed, Mark, off the snap of the ball, getting into the backfield, whether it's shedding off double teams, whether it's winning one-on-one battles, he's able to bend around the corner. He converts speed to power. He's got very long arms, big hands. He attacks the quarterback, plays the run extremely well also. The question for him is going to be, where would he fit in the Alabama scheme of things? Would he fit better as an outside linebacker standing up? Would he fit better as a defensive end or as a defensive tackle? Because he can do an assortment of things. The biggest thing for him and for Coach Saban is figuring out that if I get Perry, where does he fit in regards to how my defense is set up here for the Crimson Tide? When you look at Sexton, Jacob Sexton, he can play guard or tackle on an offensive line. Big guy, long arms, big hands, pretty strong footwork there. So where Doug Marrone is concerned, does this young man fit better as a guard on the inside, or can we kick this guy out the tackle and see is his footwork elite enough to where he can stalemate some of the better defensive ends and outside linebackers, edge rushers, college football. As far as the third guy that I'm looking at here on tape, Earl Little Jr., the young man, like I mentioned, from Heritage High School, really stands out on tape. There's a little bit of a Patrick Surtain in Little's game, and that's not far-fetched just due to both guys played at the prestigious Heritage High Schools. When you look at Earl Little, good IQ, strong instincts, attacks the football, got those ball skills, ball judgment, can really flip his hips, has really strong top-end speed. So far, just off watching the tape, Sexton, Perry, and Little all stand out. I'm just looking forward, Mark, to getting these guys or seeing these guys come on campus to meet up with Coach Saban, to meet these different position coaches, and to meet the players that they can have a future playing with, should they sign. Because at the end of the day, we all know, Mark, you're not only recruiting the athlete, but you're recruiting the family members of the athlete. So you got to sell the athlete's mom on Alabama, the dad on Alabama, the auntie, the uncle, the grandparents, the big cousins, whomever serves as. These guys are in the corner of that particular young man, of an athlete. You got to sell the whole family. So I'm looking forward to seeing how does Coach Saban sell the whole family where these young men are concerned.
Hopefully Mama in particular is happy and satisfied with the head coach and the coaching staff. Absolutely. We got Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama on the line to talk Alabama's recruiting targets for 2022. And while everybody's focused on that 22 class for obvious reasons, arguably the #1 player in college football or in high school football, moving on to the next level for 2021 is still in play, of course. And we're talking about JT Tuimoloau out of Washington, where we've got a battle brewing between definitely 4 schools: Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Alabama. There's some rumblings I'm hearing about USC possibly getting into the mix as well. Where does JT stand in regards to his relationship with Alabama?
It's a strong relationship there, Mark. And what's interesting here is the 2021 class, due to the pandemic, a lot of those guys had to make just quick decisions based on you did not get a chance to visit these schools. So you had to make your decision on the virtual visits that you took online and just the power of that program from how you see it and how big the name of that program is. So a lot of those guys had to really hit that decision button quickly. JT is a guy that he wants to take these visits. He wants to get on the campuses. He wants to kind of see what he's looking at here. So that's why he's waited so long to make his move, to craft his decision, to, he's put off his commitment to make sure and very sure, can I get a couple of visits in here first? It doesn't have to be a whole bunch of them. If I can grab 2 to 3, 3 to 4, as many as I possibly can get. So once he gets on the Alabama campus, which is coming up pretty soon here, he'll be able to make his play. But he has kept a strong relationship with the program. Coach Saban and the staff have continued to contact him and reach out to him and reach out to his family. So the relationship is there. The relationship is strong. It just comes down to what JT's move ultimately becomes.
Check out the banner, folks. Stephen A. Smith of TouchdownAlabama.com. And again, his show right here on YouTube. You can catch it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays live at 6 p.m. Central Time. In my own words. Stephen, you know that we always appreciate you stopping by, laying down the information, and it's going to be quite a month of June with offers and commitments flying all over the place as these young men make a decision for 2022.
Absolutely, Mark. And as always, what I always think about is you got to respect what these young men are trying to decide and do. You have so many schools after them, so many colleges after them, so many people kind of pulling on them and drawing on them that when they make their decision, you know, the fans out there at times, they can be up, they can be down, but at the end of the day, this is the decision from this young man, from these athletes, and you got to respect, you know, where they choose to go to further not just their careers, but their education also.